drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I've been serving customers every day all week. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. Man, I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. Yo, I need the happy hour.
Welcome to the happy hour. Hello everyone, my name is Kendrell Bowman. I'm a theater producer and director here in New York City. For the past few years, I've created some of the best shows New York has ever seen. But I've always wanted to create a show that was off the stage for television around the gay professional male, because I felt like it was never shown before. Only the stereotypical gay male was seen on our television. So this show came about because my friends and I would go to Sunday fun days in Harlem at Melba's. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, when the mimosa started going, my friends' mouths started going. They would discuss everything from politics to relationships to work advice, anything you can think of. So I sat there at the table, I said, this could be inspiring to people at home.
Definitely.
And I said, this also would be good for a talk show. And that's how the happy hour came about. For the past year, my producers and I searched all around New York City for the perfect group of gentlemen to join this panel. And I think we got them. They're intelligent, they're funny, they're attractive, they're opinionated, but you know what? They're all around good guys. And I've learned so much from these guys in a short period of time, and I know you're gonna fall in love with them like I did too. Let me introduce them to you. The first co-host, Mr. David Hand.
Yes, indeed, I am David Hand, known in certain circles called Instagram as Mr. David Hand. I'm 53 years old, and I have a son who is 20 and a husband who's 21.
Oh,
wow. Okay. 2 years ago, I was found by a model scout here in New York, and since then, my life has been about runways and fashion shows and photo shoots and serious poverty. But other than that, I cling on to my last dollar with a death grip, and also my faith that everything is going to work out in the end and pay off in dividends far more valuable than money. I am honored to be among my good friends here and to call myself a happy hour guy.
And our next co-host, the fitness conservative junkie of the group, Mr. Derrick Vidrine.
Hi there, I'm Derrick Vidrine from the great Bayou state of Louisiana, where you can have crawfish or you can dance to New Orleans style bounce music on any given Sunday. God is first in my life, followed by family, friends, the gym of course, and LSU football. Go Tigers! I've worked in corporate America the past 15 years, and I currently live in Harlem, where I ran for a non-paid political position while serving as a campaign treasurer for a city council campaign. I'm so excited to be a part of the happy hour with these great group of guys. As they say in Louisiana, let the bon ton roule, let the good times roll.
And my next co-host, I swear he's the biggest Mariah Carey fan. He's a little bit extra just like her. Just give it up for our co-host, Mr. Jay Beauchamp.
As Kendrell so graciously just introduced me, my name is Jay Beauchamp. I'm 33 years old. I currently live in New York City, where I've been here for almost 5 years, so that practically makes me a New Yorker.
I got you.
Anyways, I actually studied at the University of Miami, and I double majored in broadcast journalism and history with a minor in English. While I was in college, I used to sing and I used to dance, and I danced backup for Pitbull and J-Lo at the VMAs, for Chino and Nacho at the Latin Grammys, and even RuPaul for the Pride opening in Pensacola.
You better work.
Okay. As of now, I'm an avid CrossFitter. I am part of an organization called Pup Active, which is a dog rescue organization, and I currently work as a U.S. freight import specialist. And I'm a straight shooter. What you see is what you get. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. And even most importantly, the quote that I like to live by is, I always go the extra mile because it is never crowded. And our last co-host, he's so intelligent and a man full of wisdom. I love this guy. Give it up for Mr. Patrick L. Rowley.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick Riley. I'm an independent producer, personality, and writer who's been here in New York City for about 25 years. I know, my black doesn't crack. Thank you. I'm also actually a published author of a wonderful new book, That's What Friends Are For, on the women who inspired me, which unpacks all of my experiences that I hope to share here with the Happy Hour guys. A little levity, a little intel, and a lot of many different conversations and conflicts, hopefully, so we can keep it interesting, right? So I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, Patrick. And these are my co-hosts.
What's the content?
Cheers!
Salute. First, I have to introduce our guest co-host of the day. She's a trans female living in New York City. She's a model, she's an activist, and she's a beautiful person inside out. Give it up for Miss Angelica Torres. Angelica, thank you for joining us, Angelica. On today's episode, we will be discussing gender equality in our community. So guys, is America really ready for a woman president?
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, we saw what happened with Hillary Clinton, even though, you know, there was a whole mess of information and a whole mess of stuff that came out about that. But it's very hard.
Well, that crooked narrative on Hillary Clinton is a byproduct, I say, of the sexism. It doesn't mean that you couldn't or can't disagree with her. But I think the volume and that robust way in which people really played against Hillary Clinton really spoke volumes to me, because I always said America is racist, but America truly showed itself as sexist, I think, this last
Yeah,
round.
but also in the midterms, it was women that got us out of hot water, right? It was the black female vote, in fact, that really turned things around.
A reaction, and it was a reaction. Yeah.
I actually think we are ready for a female president.
I agree.
Especially with Trump in the White House. I mean, what better time to put somebody in there that's more powerful?
I'm ready for a talking dog after Trump.
Well, of course.
Trump in the White House, like Trump in the White House, like anybody can get to the White House now.
Pretty much.
Person can get to the
Anything
White House.
Well, then let's put the elephant in the middle of the room.
But more specifically for a woman, we are ready. There are so many females running for president right now.
Yes.
And that widens the field and widens the trial and error, that process that's going to occur over the next year and a half. Women are saying, hey, I can do this. I can do this job. And especially with Trump in the office, oh, hell yeah, I can do this.
I think the question that we really should be asking ourselves is, why are we even asking ourselves, why should a woman be president, or why should this be the first time that a woman should be president? As the only female on the panel, I must say that I'm annoyed by the fact that there is this view that women cannot lead a country, when in reality women are the ones that give birth to this entire world of people, of men, women, trans women, non-binary.
And there's such a global successful history for female leaders all over the world.
Well, if that's the case, why we haven't seen a woman president before, if you're saying all of this?
Well, it's an institution run and owned by old white men.
Yeah. Listen, you tell them the truth. You tell them the truth.
Kamala Harris, if just, and this is not an endorsement, but she does know how to shut a white man down. No offense, David. She knows how to shut. We've seen the Senate hearings. We've seen.
It hasn't come from me yet. It'll happen. Right.
But now I want to get on a sticky topic about transgender rights. You know, on the MTA here in New York City, they passed a law here last year, I remember, on the train systems that you cannot say, hello, ladies and gentlemen, anymore. Now it says, hello, everyone, welcome to the MTA. And I was having a talk with my barber about it, and he felt like, oh my gosh, if they want to be a transgender now, you went from being a male to a female, so why would I want to call you she? So it gets very confusing. It's like we almost need a book for transgenders, the how to approach and communicate with you. And then sometimes, honestly, I feel like it can be a little bit too much. It's like, you know, on the box it's male, female. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so I just want to start out with, it's not transgender. We refer to ourselves as transgender men, transgender women. I refer to myself as trans female. So that goes to say,
teach and preach and thank you.
Yes, yes. Like, because a lot of people don't quite realize what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. for instance, the word tranny. That is the equivalent of the N-word towards the African American community.
Well, is that recent? Because I remember back in the day. Okay.
It's honestly
back in the day they used to use the N-word. It's the same point, and they used it quite comfortably.
They use it very loosely, and I'm sad to say that it's still used very loosely, especially within the community, and also with cis straight people. That is their N-word for us.
Well, how does someone who doesn't know, you know what I mean? Because by looking at you, I see a beautiful woman, okay? And then when you switch and say, well, you know, learning that you're a transgender
woman,
transgender woman, how would someone know how to approach you, what to say the right things, and without, you know, being offensive to you? Because I feel like sometimes transgender people, they walk around as we should already know the dictionary. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not. I don't have any close friends. So I think it should be reciprocated on the other end, that you should be understanding that this is something new to us, and you should try to teach us in a way that we can be respectful.
I get you. And the longer you've been dealing with the language, it becomes even more difficult, just speaking as the over 24 member of the team. So
the only over 24.
Exactly. 23 and a half. He's sneaking up on me. But, you know, the longer you've been dealing with the language, the harder it is to kind of turn it around. I've always taken exception with, like, the children walking around with, ask me about my pronouns. No.
Yes.
Tell me your pronouns. I'm not going to ask you. Tell me your pronouns so that we can get that out of the way. And
but this is it. I disagree with the idea that we have to sort of wait to have it explained to us. I go all throughout New York City and speak to gay straight alliances. It is the babies who teach me the pronouns.
Indeed.
And it is in that setting where I can bring to them the little bit that I know as an LGBTQIA, elemental P, you know. We got a lot of letters, and representation matters. And representation matters. But what they do is give me, in that conversation, they give me the opportunity to learn. And so it's up to us. I think we need to be mentoring more. And we're not doing that to be able to then bridge that gap on the new language.
Well, to just add on to that, I think it's important for everyone to sit back and listen and to be comfortable enough to ask the right questions as opposed to just asking whatever questions come to your mind. Because in my experience, when I speak about being a trans female, I'm often confronted with questions of surgery. Girl, what surgery did you have? Did you do the thing? Did you do the? And I'm like, okay,
is that rude to ask someone?
As hell.
Absolutely.
Rude as hell. Okay. And I'm going to be straight up about it because that is always what people tend to focus on when they hear the word transgender. Their minds immediately go to surgery. And there is so much more to us than just our bodies and what we may or may not have done to our bodies. Some trans men and women choose to opt for surgery, some don't. So it's like people are making the assumption that all of us have had surgery. Like for a lot of people, I made the assumption that I've had facial feminization surgery. I haven't yet.
So not to interrupt you, just for clarity, for people at home who's watching, because even myself, to be considered transgender, you don't have to have surgery?
No. Well, okay, so this is my own personal feelings on it, and I have a lot of feelings on it. A lot of trans women who are not quote unquote cis passing are not looked at as real women, are not looked at as real trans women because they do not fit the beauty standards in which the society and the world has set for those that identify as females to identify themselves as female. And there's this whole thing of, well, if you have like a broad brow bone or if you have like broad shoulders, then honey, you're not a girl.
I guess that's my days. I can't be there.
The thing is, you can't, like, if in fact you were trans, you absolutely could have the body that you have because guess what? We are all built differently. women and men are all built differently. There are some cis women that are mistaken for trans women.
So speaking of mistaken, let me ask you about this, and you guys as well. I was looking for a theater for our next production to do here in the city, and the bathrooms there were just gender-neutral bathrooms. And they were asking me about, well, you just have to get this, you know, in the rental. We don't have it in other bathrooms. So, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because, listen, this is my demographic for my shows. I couldn't have my church people going to a place and they have men and women going to the same restrooms. How do you feel about the gender-neutral restrooms?
Personally, I'm in favor of you know, all gender restrooms. If it's a one-person show kind of restroom, then who cares? Yeah. But if it is,
well, the design is different.
The design is right. So if it's a bank of sinks and a bunch of closed floor-to-ceiling stalls, then awesome. You know, then I don't see where the intrusion.
Well, one person in the restroom at a time, or
no? I'm saying I've been in
a completely gender-neutral restaurant.
Right.
I'm from Florida, you know, and I'm from Miami, which is a place that's a lot more cultural than the rest of Florida, you know. And but for me, with this whole gender-neutral bathrooms, my mother, from I think until I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, she would always take me into the bathroom with her, you know, so I could do whatever.
6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, just to do whatever it is that I need to do, whatever she wanted to.
Not to Jay.
With my, I have no shame in saying that I love being by my mother's side every second of every day.
Did she wipe you? Did she wipe you?
That's a Latino.
But anyway, so
That's a Latino thing.
for me, going to the bathroom and then seeing women and seeing men outside, to me, it didn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
So when I was told, why are you going to the women's bathroom? I'm like, well, it's a bathroom, is it? Yeah. I didn't think it was a problem with it.
Well, speaking
of, I had to learn
my key concern with the all gender restrooms is just the number of child pedophiles and predators across the U.S. So like just there's more actual predators and pedophiles than trans people in the U.S. So that's my number one concern. I love trans people. I want all inclusive restrooms all across the board. But you know, I think just right now, what our society and the U.S. society is on the incline in accepting trans people and just being all inclusive. But my approach is that having a men's restroom, a female restroom, and then a unisex restroom that can be all inclusive for everybody. And for us to continue on that incline, like I want us to move to that direction to where we're all unisex, we're all inclusive.
Like,
but unfortunately, we live in a world that we always lived in a world where
which two things?
There's child pedophiles.
We need to keep trans people using bathrooms and pedophiles separate because.
But how do you separate that? How do you separate them? How do we know that somebody's a pedophile?
We're talking about this all day, but I have to move on. I'm sorry. We can table this and we can talk about this on the after show.
Yes. It's projection, though. Predator is projection.
I have to pee now, by the way.
But you mentioned a good point. All of you.
I'll go to the same restaurant.
That's not funny. But seriously, sorry guys, that's our time and we must wrap it up. But that's our time here at the Happy Hour. Thank you so much, Angelica, for joining us today. And thank you to our sponsors, Lambda Vodka, Melba's in Harlem, and To Assist. Just remember to keep the mimosas flowing and the conversation going. See you next time here on the Happy Hour. Cheers. Thank you.
I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I've been serving customers every day all week. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. Man, I need me a drink. I'ma hit the happy hour. I need me a drink.